Have you bought this mini DIY crochet kit from Kmart? Are you completely confused by the instructions? If so, know that you're not alone. Throw the instructions away, watch this tutorial instead, and I'll show you how to make this adorable little chick and egg. This is a very beginner-friendly tutorial. However, if this is your very first time picking up a crochet hook, you might want to check out my How to Crochet for Absolute Beginners playlist before you get stuck into this tutorial. In particular, you'll want to look at the videos for how to hold your hook and yarn, how to do a magic circle, and how to do a single crochet. Okay, so this is what you get included in the kit. Now, I find these crochet hooks that they include in these kits almost impossible to use, so I'm going to use my own crochet hook. If you are using the hook that they include, you want to use the smaller end, the end that says 3mm, although be aware that this actually runs a little bit small. So if you're using your own crochet hook, you'll want to use a 2.5mm. Okay, so we're going to start with the body, and for that you'll want the bright yellow yarn. We'll start the body with a magic circle. Magic circles are quite tricky. They're one of the trickiest things to get your head around if you're new to crochet. So be sure to check out the beginner tutorial I've linked below for how to do a magic circle if you're struggling with this at all. In that video, I also include an alternative approach that you can try if you're just struggling to get the hang of the magic circle. So to do a magic circle, you want to hold your yarn tail facing down between your thumb and first finger. Then you want to wrap the yarn around your first two fingers, go underneath, and then cross it over the top into an X, like so. So on the underside, you'll have two parallel lines, and on the top, you'll have an X, and just hold it in place with your third finger. Then take your crochet hook, you want to go under this first strand of yarn here, grab the second strand of yarn, and pull it through to the other side. Then you want to twist so it's sitting on top of the X. Then we're going to grab this strand of yarn here, and pull that through the loop on your hook. And that's how you do a magic circle. I'll do that one more time. Yarn tail facing down, wrap it around your fingers in an X, under this first strand, grab the second strand and pull it through and twist it on top. Then grab this strand and pull that through the loop on your hook. Then we're going to do 6 single crochets into the magic circle. So working into the magic circle is just like working into a stitch, except instead of inserting it into the stitch, you just insert it right into the middle of the circle. Then to do a single crochet, you just want to yarn over, so drape the yarn over your crochet hook, hook it and pull it through the circle. You'll now have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through both loops. Now you want to take your stitch marker, they should have included one in your kit. We just want to insert that under the V of the stitch of our first stitch. We're going to be working in the round, and when you're working in continuous rounds like with this pattern, it's really important to mark the first stitch of every row, because otherwise you won't know when your row starts and ends. So that's our first single crochet, but we want to do 6 in total, so another 5 single crochets all into the magic circle. Once you've done your 6 single crochets into the magic circle, you can just pull on the yarn tail, and that should close up your magic circle into a little loop like this. Now for round 2, we're going to do 6 increases. And an increase just means that you're doing 2 stitches into each stitch. So our first stitch is going to be into this stitch here that had our stitch marker in it. And we'll do 1 single crochet. And then move your stitch marker into that stitch you've just made. And then we're going to do a second single crochet back into the very same stitch that we just did. So you want to work right into the base of where the stitch you've just done is coming out of. And you're going under both prongs of the V of the top of the stitch. And you'll do a second single crochet. So that's an increase because we're essentially increasing the number of stitches in each stitch. So again, into our next stitch, so we're inserting our crochet hook under both prongs of the V of the stitch, doing 1 single crochet and a second. And we'll do this in every stitch around, so by the end of this round we'll have 12 stitches. So you know you're at the end of the row once you get back to your stitch marker. So now we should have 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 stitches. Now for round 3 we're going to alternate between single crochets and increases. So into the first stitch we will do a single crochet and move our stitch marker. And then into the second stitch we'll do an increase, so 2 single crochets into that second stitch. Then into the third we'll do just 1 single crochet, and into the fourth we'll do an increase, so 2 single crochets into that fourth stitch. And we just want to keep continuing this pattern around of single crochet, increase, single crochet, increase. So your last stitch of round 3 should be an increase, and you should have 18 stitches by the end of round 3. Okay, now for round 4, our first stitch will be a single crochet. Our second is an increase. Then we're going to do 2 single crochets followed by an increase. So 1 single crochet into the first stitch, single crochet into the second stitch, and an increase into the third. And we're going to repeat that pattern 5 times. So single crochet, increase, single crochet, increase, and then by the time you finish that 5 times you should have 1 stitch left, and into that last stitch we'll do a single crochet. Now for round 5, the pattern we're going to follow is 3 single crochets followed by an increase. So single crochet into the first stitch, another single crochet in the second stitch, and a single crochet in the third stitch. And then into the fourth stitch you'll do an increase, and then we're just going to repeat that pattern 6 times in total. So single crochet, increase, you should have 30 stitches by the end of row 5. For row 6 we're going to do a single crochet in the first stitch and in the second, followed by an increase in the third. Then we're going to do 4 single crochets followed by an increase. So 1, 2, 3, 4, increase, and follow that pattern 4 more times. Then you should have 2 stitches remaining, and you'll just do a single crochet into each of those last 2 stitches. For row 7, you're just going to do single crochets all the way around, so there'll be 36 single crochets in total. For round 8, you'll just do 5 single crochets followed by an increase. You'll repeat that pattern 6 times and have 42 stitches by the end of row 8. For row 9, you'll just do 42 single crochets all the way around. For row 10, we'll start with 3 single crochets in the first 3 stitches. Followed by an increase. Then you'll do 6 single crochets followed by an increase and repeat that pattern 5 times. Then you should have 3 stitches left, and you'll just do single crochets into those last 3 stitches. Round 11 is just 48 single crochets all the way around. And for row 12, you'll do 7 single crochets followed by an increase. You'll repeat that pattern 6 times, and you'll have 54 stitches by the end of row 12. Okay, then for rows 13 through to 22, you want to do 56 single crochets all the way around. Just make sure at the end of each row that you move your stitch marker into the first stitch of your next round. And I'll meet you back here at the start of row 23, which is when we're going to start doing some decreases. So once you finish row 22, you should have something that looks kind of like this. For row 23, we're going to start to do some decreases. But before we do that, it's a good time to weave in your initial yarn end. So as you've been working, you might have found that your work has been curling like so, but this is actually the wrong side of the work. And the way that you know that is that the tail will be poking through on the wrong side of the work. So you want the tail to be sitting inside the check rather than the outside. So this is the right side to be facing out. But what we want to do is secure this yarn end here so that your initial magic circle doesn't come undone. So to do that, you just want to push your work through to the wrong side, so to the side where the yarn tail is poking out. Then you want to thread this yarn tail onto a tapestry needle. They do include a plastic one in the kit, but I'm going to use my metal one. And then you're just going to weave it in and through your stitches. There's no kind of exact science to this. You just want to be working under at least 4 or 5 different stitches and in at least 3 different directions. And the purpose of this is just to secure this yarn end so that it doesn't come unraveled. Once you've woven through a few different stitches, you can remove your yarn needle. If this side of the work was going to be visible, then we could just trim this yarn tail off, but actually because we're going to be stuffing our check, we can leave that yarn tail to form part of the stuffing. So then for row 23, we're going to begin with 7 single crochets. Then we're going to do a decrease. So I'll show you how to do an invisible decrease, which will just give you a cleaner finish than a standard decrease. So to do an invisible decrease, you want to insert your hook under the front prong only of the next stitch. So typically you would insert your crochet hook under both prongs of the V, but this time we want to just insert it under that front prong. Then you want to swing your crochet hook down so that you can get the head of your hook under the front prong only of the stitch after that. Then you'll have 3 loops on your hook, and yarn over and pull through those first 2 loops. You'll have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. Then we'll do another 7 single crochets and another invisible decrease. So again, just insert your hook under the front prong only of the next stitch, swing it down so that you can get the head of your hook under the front prong only of the stitch after that, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2. So then you just want to continue this pattern around of doing 7 single crochets followed by a decrease. You'll repeat the pattern 6 times in total and have 48 stitches by the end of row 23. Then you can follow the pattern that's written on the screen for rows 24 through to 28, and then I'll meet you back here at the end of row 28. Okay, once you finish row 28, now we want to stuff our chick. So you just want to pull up a really big loop in your work and use another stitch marker to keep that secure while you're stuffing. And then you just want to use this polyfill to stuff your chick. You can use most of this, but you want to leave a little bit for the arms. Okay, and then once you've finished stuffing the chick for row 29, we're just going to alternate between single crochets and decreases. I will say the yarn that is included in these DIY kits is really variable based on the colour, and this yellow yarn is actually some of the nicest yarns that I've used from these kits. It's not overly splitty, it's quite soft, which is a nice change. Then for row 30, you're just going to do 6 decreases. Now to fasten off this end, I'll show you how to do an invisible close. You just want to cut a yarn tail, but instead of fastening off how we normally do, you just actually want to pull that yarn tail all the way through without yarning over. Then you want to thread this yarn tail onto your tapestry needle, and then you just want to thread your needle up under the front prong, so the prong that's closest to you of the first stitch, and then go down under the front prong of the stitch after that, and just work your way around that final row. All the way around, and then you can just pull tightly on that yarn and that will close up your gap nice and secure. Then to fasten off this end, you just want to weave it in and through your stitches like you would typically weave in your end, working in a few different directions. And then we can actually hide this yarn tail by inserting it into your work and then popping it out somewhere else on the chick's body and pulling it all the way through. Then you can actually just trim this yarn tail close to your work, and if you just wiggle it a little bit, you'll lose the end in your work. And that's the body of your chick done. Okay, next we are going to make the comb. So to start the comb, we need to do a slip knot. So to do a slip knot, you want to have your ball of yarn to the left of you and your yarn tail to the right of you, and just make a loop with your yarn like so. Put your finger on the X here and then drag the loop of yarn over your yarn tail. Then you want to grab this piece of yarn here and pull it through, and that will create a big loop like so. Then you can insert your crochet hook into that loop and pull it tight. Then we want to do 5 chains. So to do a chain, you just want to yarn over and then pull that yarn through the loop on your hook. And we'll do that 5 times in total. Then once you've got your 5 chains, you're going to insert your hook into the second chain from your hook. So you want to ignore this first chain, and then we're going to work into the second chain, but we're going to work into what's called the back bump. So on the front of your chain, you'll see this V formation, and then if you turn your chain over, you'll see these bumps along the back, and it's these bumps that we're going to be working into. So you want to ignore the first bump, and then we're going to work into the second bump, which is this one here. And we're going to do a single crochet into that bump. Into the next bump, we're going to do a half double crochet. So to do a half double crochet, you want to yarn over before you insert your hook into the stitch. Go under the second back bump, yarn over and pull up a loop. You'll have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Into the next back bump, we're going to do a double crochet. So for a double crochet, you want to yarn over before you insert your hook under that next back bump. You'll yarn over and pull up a loop. You'll have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops, and then yarn over and pull through the last 2 loops. And then into the last stitch, we're going to do a treble crochet. So to do a treble crochet, you actually want to yarn over twice. So yarn over once, then yarn over again. You might want to use your finger to hold it in place while you insert it into that final back bump. Then you're going to yarn over and pull up a loop. You'll have 4 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops. Yarn over, pull through the next 2 loops. And yarn over and pull through the last 2 loops. And that's a treble crochet. And then we're going to repeat this process again. So we'll do another 5 chains. 3, 4, 5. We're going to skip the first chain. Into the back bump of the second chain, we'll do a single crochet. Into the next one, we'll do a half double crochet. So yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 3. Double crochet into the next bump. So yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and a treble crochet into that last one. So yarn over twice, insert your hook into the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And then we're going to do this whole process one more time. And then you'll have 3 little triangles like so. Now we want to fasten off. So just snip a yarn tail, yarn over and pull all the way through. Then we're actually going to sew these 3 triangles together, but we'll do that at the end when we're sewing up all the parts of our jerk. Okay, next for the mouth. So for the mouth, we're going to do another chain. So we're going to start with a slip knot. So again, create a loop in your yarn, hold it in place, drape the loop over the yarn tail, and then pull the strip of yarn through. And this time we'll chain 4. We're going to be working into the back bumps again, and we're also going to start into the second one. So we'll ignore the first one and work into the second back bump. And into this bump, we're going to do a single crochet. Under the next back bump, we're going to do a half double crochet and a double crochet all into the same back bump. So yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 3, and then working back into that same space, yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Into the next back bump, we will do a double crochet followed by a half double crochet. So yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and again we'll go back into that same space and do a half double crochet. Okay, now we're going to work on the other side of our starting chain. So we've essentially been working along this side, now we're going to work along this side. So firstly we're going to do a slip stitch back into the very first stitch, so that was the stitch here. To do a slip stitch, you want to insert your hook into the stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop. You'll have 2 loops on your hook, and then you're going to pull this loop through the one that's on your hook. And that's a slip stitch. Then into the next stitch we're going to do a half double crochet and a double crochet into the same stitch. So yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 3, and then a double crochet into the same stitch. And into the last stitch we're going to do a double crochet, a half double crochet, and a single crochet all into the same stitch. So double crochet, half double crochet, and single crochet, and then we can fasten off. Okay, so to start the wings we want to do another magic circle. So again you just hold your yarn tail facing down, wrap it around your first 2 fingers into an X. Under this first strand of yarn, pull the second strand of yarn, twist it on top, and then grab this strand of yarn and pull it through the loop on your hook. Then we're going to do 6 single crochets into the magic ring. Don't forget to mark that first one with your stitch marker. Then when you've done your 6 single crochets, you can just pull on your yarn tail to close up the magic circle. Then for row 2, we're going to alternate between single crochets and increases. So into the first stitch, we'll do a single crochet, move your stitch marker. Into the second stitch, we'll do an increase, so 2 single crochets into that second stitch. Just 1 single crochet into the next, increase, single crochet, increase. Should have 9 stitches by the end of row 2. Then for row 3 you're going to do 2 single crochets followed by an increase. So 2 single crochets, increase, 1, 2, increase, 1, 2, increase. Now your work will naturally want to curl so that the right side is on the inside, so you just want to keep pushing it through so that it curves outward like so. Then for row 4 we're just doing 3 single crochets, increase. Repeat that pattern 3 times and you'll have 15 stitches by the end of row 4. Then for rows 5 through to 8, you just want to do 15 single crochets all the way around, but I would recommend weaving in your initial yarn end now, because rows 5 through to 8 will start to do the sides, so it'll get a little bit more tricky to get into the inside of the wing. You can trim this yarn tail if it bothers you, but you can also just leave it to sit in the inside of the wing. Okay, so then you just want to do 4 rows of 15 single crochets all the way around, and I'll meet you back here at the end of row 8. Then once you've finished row 8, you just want to put a little bit of fibre fill into the arm, not too much though, just enough to help it stick out. Then you just want to alternate between single crochets and decreases, and by the end of row 9 you'll have 10 stitches. And then for row 10 you're just going to do 5 decreases. Then you can fasten off. I recommend doing invisible close for this one as well, just to make sure that none of the stuffing comes out. So again, just thread the yarn tail onto your tapestry needle and work up and then down the loops closest to you on the last row of stitches. Now you want to leave this yarn tail because we will use this to attach the arm to the body. So then you just want to repeat this process to make your second wing. And then finally for the eggshell, so for that you want the white yarn, we're going to start that with another magic circle. Again, feel free to go back and re-watch the slower magic tutorial at the start of this video or the beginner's tutorial that I've linked below. And this time we're going to do 8 single crochets into the magic circle. Then once you've done your 8 single crochets, you can pull on that yarn tail to close it up. And for round 2, we're going to do 8 increases, so 2 single crochets into each stitch. For round 3, you'll alternate between single crochets and increases. Then for row 4, you're just going to do 2 single crochets followed by an increase. You'll repeat that pattern 8 times and you'll have 32 stitches by the end of row 4. Now the next few rows work very similarly to how we have done the body of the chick, so you can continue to follow the instructions on the screen. For row 5, you want to do 3 single crochets followed by an increase. You'll repeat that pattern 8 times and end up with 40 stitches by the end of row 5. For row 6, you want to do 2 single crochets and increase, then 4 single crochets and increase. Then you want to repeat the 4 single crochet increase 7 times in total, and then end with 2 single crochets. You'll have 48 stitches by the end of row 6. For row 7, you want to do 5 single crochets followed by an increase. You repeat that 8 times and have 56 stitches by the end of row 7. Then for rows 8 through to 11, you just want to do 56 single crochets all the way around. And I'll meet you back here at the end of row 11. Okay, now for row 12, we'll do the little zigzag edge on the top of the eggshell. So into the first stitch, you want to do a single crochet. Into the second stitch, we're going to do a half double crochet. So to do a half double crochet, you want to yarn over before you insert your hook into the stitch. Then yarn over and pull up a loop. You'll have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. I'll note as well that I've included beginner tutorials for all the stitches I'm about to show you in the description below, so feel free to check those out if you're struggling with any of these stitches. Into the third stitch, we'll do a double crochet. So to do that, you want to yarn over before you insert your hook into the stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop. You'll have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops, and then yarn over again and pull through the last 2 loops. Then you want to do a chain, so just yarn over and pull it through. Then into the next stitch you'll do another double crochet, so yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through the first 2, yarn over, pull through the next 2. Then a half double crochet, so yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. Into the next stitch you'll do a single crochet, and then into the next one you'll do a slip stitch. So to do a slip stitch you want to insert your hook into the stitch and pull up a loop, and then you want to pull this loop through the loop that's already on your hook. That's a slip stitch. To the next stitch we'll do a single crochet, half double crochet, so yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 3. Double crochet into the next stitch, so yarn over, insert your hook and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over, pull through the next 2 loops. Then we're going to do a treble crochet. To do a treble crochet you want to yarn over twice, so yarn over once, then yarn over a second time, then insert your hook into the stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop. You'll have 4 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over, pull through the next 2 loops, and then yarn over and pull through the final 2 loops. Do another chain, then we'll do another treble crochet, so yarn over twice, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Then a double crochet and a half double crochet, single crochet, and slip stitch. Now we're going to repeat that process. So single crochet, half double, double, chain 1, another double, half double, single crochet, slip stitch, single crochet, half double crochet, double crochet, treble, chain 1, another treble, double crochet, half double crochet, single crochet, slip stitch. And then we'll repeat that whole sequence one more time. Single crochet, half double crochet, double crochet, chain 1, another double crochet, half double crochet, single crochet, slip stitch, single crochet, half double, double, treble, chain 1, another treble, double, half double, single crochet, slip stitch. And then for the last section we'll do a single crochet, a half double crochet, a double crochet, chain 1, another double crochet, half double, single crochet, slip stitch, and then you should have one stitch left, and that last stitch is a single crochet. Then you can fasten off. So just cut a yarn tail, yarn over, and pull all the way through. And then we just want to weave in our ends for our eggshell. If you want to sew your eggshell onto your chick, then you want to leave this yarn end. However, I kind of like the idea of being able to take the chick in and out of the egg, so I'm not going to do that. So I will weave in both of my yarn ends. Okay, now our final step is just to assemble our chick. So the parts that you'll need are the body. You should have 2 arms, the eggshell, the little comb, the mouth, and you'll also need the black yarn that they include to make the eyes. So the pattern suggests sewing the eggshell onto the chick body, which you can definitely do, but I kind of like the idea of being able to take it in and out, so I'm just going to let mine sit in the eggshell without sewing it on. Then to sew each part on, you just want to thread the yarn tail onto your tapestry needle, and then just kind of position the part where you want it, and then insert your tapestry needle through a stitch on the body and pull that all the way through, and then just insert it through one of the stitches on the final row of the arm, and just do a few more stitches to secure it in place, working your way around the stitches in the arm. And then once it's nice and secure, what you can do is actually hide this yarn tail into the body of the chick, just like we did with the yarn tail of the body. So just pull it all the way through, and you can trim that off. Now I suggest looking at the top of your chick to make sure that your arms are lined up and that you have them in the same horizontal position, and then you also just want to make sure that you've got it about the same number of rows from the center. Now my arms are kind of sticking out a bit, whereas in the picture the little arms are more flat against the body. So I think I might actually just sew the arms down to the side. So to do that, I'm just going to insert my hook into the body and come out about where I want to secure the wing, and then I can just sew through the end here and just secure that in place. And I'll just come through on the other side to do it with the other arm. Then for the little comb, you actually want to fold the comb over in kind of a concertina fashion, and then take one of your yarn tails, and we're just going to weave in and through to secure the 3 triangles together. And then we can attach the comb to the top of the body. And you can hide this other yarn tail in just the same way. Then we want to attach the beak. I suggest just working through the middle of the beak so that it's kind of sticks out and doesn't lie flat against the body. And then the final detail we need are his eyes. Now the pattern suggests doing them as X's, you can do them as like straight lines or kind of more circles. I'm going to do mine as X's just because I want it to match the little bunny Easter kit that I have also done. So I'd cut about half of the black yarn and thread it onto your tapestry needle. Now you want to kind of line your eyes up, so probably they're at the height of the top of your arms, depending on where you put them, but just think about them both in relation to the height and the width. So you want them either side of the mouth and the comb, and sort of maybe halfway between the comb and the mouth. So what we're going to do is insert your hook into where you want the far side of the first eye to start, and then go about 1 stitch across and pop out, and you want to pull it through, but don't pull it all the way through. You want to essentially leave a yarn tail here. Then we're going to go down in an X, so you want to go down about 1 stitch and then poke your tapestry needle horizontally another stitch. And that creates the first part of our X. Then we're going to cross over to go back into the hole that we started in, and we want to poke our needle out where we want our second eye to start. So don't pull it too tight or it'll pucker, and then we'll just do the same thing here. So I'm going to go diagonal 1 and I'll come in 1 stitch, and then cross over the top, and then you can just poke out anywhere you like for that final stitch. And then what we need to do is just hide this last yarn tail. You can thread that onto your tapestry needle and go just as close as possible to where the stitch started, and then just pop out somewhere else. You can trim these final yarn tails. And wiggle them in, and your little chick and egg is complete. Thanks so much for watching this video. I really hope that you found it useful. And if you made it to this point in the video, I'm so grateful. You are my people, and I am so glad that you found your way here. And if this project has got you hooked on crochet, be sure to like and subscribe for more info and inspo for new crochet makers. Also, if you're really wanting to master the art of crochet, be sure to check out my Learn How to Crochet kit in my YouTube storefront. So this kit is a little bit different from others that you'll find in the market. I've designed this kit more like a Learn How to Crochet masterclass in a box. And by that I mean that I've specifically designed the patterns so that they are ideal for beginners, cover all of the major stitches and techniques that you'll want to master when you're starting out. What this means is that by the end of the kit, you'll be able to tackle basically any beginner, advanced beginner, and even some intermediate crochet projects. So in this kit, you'll learn things like how to keep your edges straight, how to manage your tension, how to seam, and even how to do some color work. Each pattern builds on the skills that you learned in the previous pattern so that your confidence and your skill set will grow as you work through the kit. And by the end of the kit, you'll have some great little items that you can use around your house. The kit is also designed to teach you how to read a crochet pattern because I've included detailed long form written instructions alongside short form notation in the format that crochet patterns are typically written, along with detailed step-by-step tutorials. It also includes troubleshooting support and other handy tips and tricks. I've also designed the projects to expose you to different types of fibers, different styles of crochet, and different hook sizes, so you can start to learn what you really enjoy to crochet with. So make sure you go and check it out and let me know what you think. If you want to say thanks for any tutorial that you found useful, you can buy me a coffee, which is linked down in the description below. Thank you so much for crocheting with me today, and happy crafting.